One investment, one signature, and suddenly the question every Wrexham fan feared asking became impossible to ignore. What happens when Hollywood decides to leave? Alright, Wrexham fans, if you love the Red Dragons like I do, hit that subscribe button, because what I'm about to tell you changes everything about this club's future. Let's dive in. Monday started like any other day at the racecourse. The lads were preparing for another championship fixture, fans were buzzing about our incredible rise through the leagues, and then the announcement dropped. Apollo Sports Capital, a massive American investment firm, had just bought a minority stake in Wrexham Association Football Club, nearly 10%, based on a valuation of £350 million. Let that sink in for a moment. £350 million for a club that was playing non-league football just 3 years ago. But here's what's got everyone talking. What's keeping Wrexham supporters up at night? This isn't just about money for a new cop stand or redeveloping the racecourse. This is about something much bigger. Because buried in the details, hidden behind the corporate speak and the celebratory statements, is a question that strikes at the very heart of what we've built. Are Reynolds and Mac being forced to stay? This isn't just about investment. This is about control, about the future, about whether the fairy tale we've all been living can survive without its Hollywood storytellers. And for a club that's climbed from the National League to the Championship in record time, the stakes have never been higher. But to understand how we got here, we need to go back. February 2021, Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhenney complete their takeover of Wrexham AFC, two Hollywood A-listers buying a struggling non-league club in North Wales. The football world laughed, called it a publicity stunt, a vanity project that would fade the moment the cameras stopped rolling. They were wrong. Spectacularly wrong. 3 promotions in 3 years. National League champions, League Two champions, and now fighting in the Championship, the third tier of English football, and just 1 promotion away from the promised land of the Premier League. Welcome to Wrexham became a global phenomenon on Disney+, turning our club into one of the most recognisable brands in world football. We're selling 100,000 shirts a year. The racecourse is packed every match day. This town, this community that football forgot, is suddenly the centre of the sporting universe. But success brings attention, and attention brings opportunity. And opportunity, well, that's where things get complicated. Last December, the Allen family, New York-based investors, bought a minority stake. Reynolds and Mac assured everyone they'd remain majority owners, that the partnership was about sustainable growth. The fans trusted them. We always have. They'd earned that trust by delivering on every promise they'd made. Then came the Apollo announcement. Another American investment firm, fresh off acquiring a majority stake in Atletico Madrid, was now buying into Wrexham. The official line, funding for stadium redevelopment, a new cop stand to increase capacity, investment in infrastructure to support our championship campaign and potential push for the Premier League. All brilliant news on the surface, exactly what a club of our ambition needs. But football finance experts started asking questions. And one name kept coming up: Kieran Maguire, one of the most respected voices in football economics. What he said next sent shockwaves through the Wrexham faithful. Behind closed doors, he suggested, there might be something else at play, something called golden handcuffs. Here's what Maguire revealed on the Price of Football podcast, and I need you to really hear this. The value in Wrexham comes from the connection to Reynolds and Mac and the documentary. Think about that for a second. Our value, the £350 million valuation that just got attached to this historic football club, isn't primarily about our league position or our stadium or even our incredible fan base. It's about 2 celebrities and a television programme. Maguire went further. If you take away Reynolds and Mac, will those people continue to have the same degree of enthusiasm for Wrexham? I think not. brutal, honest, and impossible to ignore. Then came the bit that changes everything. I would imagine that Apollo and the other American investors probably have some form of golden handcuffs agreement with Reynolds and Mac, which says that you've got to commit to your involvement with the club for at least the next 5 years. Golden handcuffs, a legal mechanism that essentially locks someone into a position to protect investment value. The implication is staggering. Reynolds and Mac might not have the freedom to walk away even if they wanted to. Apollo, having invested based on a £350 million valuation, would need assurances that the Hollywood magic, the documentary, the celebrity appeal, the global brand recognition stays intact. Could you imagine being contractually obligated to own a football club, to maintain your public involvement, your enthusiasm, your commitment, not because you love it, but because investors demand it? Now, to be fair, there's no concrete evidence these golden handcuffs exist. Maguire is theorizing based on standard investment practices, but the logic is sound, frighteningly sound. If you're Apollo Sports Capital, having just put serious money into Wrexham based on its celebrity-driven brand value, wouldn't you want guarantees? Wouldn't you want Reynolds and Mac locked in for the long haul?
The reaction from Wrexham supporters has been complicated. On social media, fans are divided. Some see this as positive. If investors want Reynolds and Mac committed long-term, doesn't that prove the Hollywood duo are crucial to our success? Doesn't that mean they're staying? Others feel uneasy. There's something unsettling about the idea that our owners might be contractually trapped rather than emotionally invested. Phil Parkinson himself addressed similar concerns last December after the Alien investment. He told The Hollywood Reporter, "No, we will remain majority owners. The team is growing faster than anyone expected." He emphasised that bringing in partners with similar values that make Wrexham was about sustainable growth, not stepping back. The joint statement from Reynolds and Mac after the Apollo deal echoed that sentiment. From day one, we wanted to build a sustainable future for Wrexham Association Football Club. The dream has always been to take this club to the Premier League while staying true to the town. Beautiful words, genuine sentiment by all accounts. But Maguire's analysis raises an uncomfortable question. Is that commitment voluntary or contractual? Phil Parkinson, our gaffer, has remained focused on the football. The squad is performing brilliantly in the Championship, defying expectations once again. But you can sense an underlying tension. Players read the news, they hear the speculation, they wonder about stability. Local media in Wales have been cautiously optimistic, emphasising the investment's potential for stadium development. The leader highlighted the new COP stand plans, the increased capacity, the economic boost for the town. But even they can't ignore the elephant in the room. What happens if the documentary ends? What happens if Hollywood loses interest? Here's the reality we need to face as Wrexham supporters. Our club's value is now inextricably linked to Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhenney. That's not criticism, it's fact. The Welcome to Wrexham documentary transformed us from a forgotten non-league club into a global brand. Those 100,000 shirts we sell annually, most aren't going to lifelong Wrexham fans, they're going to people who fell in love with our story through their televisions. The Championship campaign we're fighting through right now depends on financial stability. Stadium improvements, player recruitment, infrastructure development, all of it requires investment. Apollo's money provides that, but it also creates dependency. If Maguire's right about golden handcuffs, we're looking at a minimum 5-year commitment from our Hollywood owners. That takes us to 2030. By then, the landscape of English football could look completely different. We could be in the Premier League. We could have a 20,000 capacity racecourse ground. We could be a genuinely established Championship or top-flight club. Or the documentary could have run its course. The global audience might have moved on. And suddenly, that £350 million valuation looks very different. There's precedent for this. Remember when Leeds United's value collapsed after they left the Premier League? Or when Sunderland's Netflix documentary couldn't prevent their slide? Football is littered with clubs whose brand value evaporated when the narrative changed. But here's what makes Wrexham different. We're not just a documentary club. We're the oldest club in Wales. We're a community institution that existed for 156 years before Reynolds and Mac arrived. We'll exist long after they're gone. The racecourse faithful, the proper Wrexham fans who've been here through administration, relegation and heartbreak, we're still here. We're still the soul of this club. The question is whether Apollo Sports Capital understands that, whether they recognise that sustainable value comes from league position, community connection and footballing infrastructure, not just celebrity ownership and television ratings. At the end of the day, this is what being a Wrexham fan is all about. Navigating the impossible, embracing the chaotic and believing something bigger than ourselves. We've gone from the depths of non-league football to the Championship in 3 years. We've had Hollywood stars weeping with joy at the racecourse. We've had the world watching our town, our club, our story. And now we're confronting the uncomfortable truth that success brings complexity. Are Reynolds and Mac locked in by golden handcuffs? Maybe. Does that diminish what they've achieved? Absolutely not. Whether they're here by choice or contract, they've transformed this club. They've given us hope, investment, and a future we never dared imagine. From Holyrood to the racecourse, from the National League to the Championship, this is our story, and it's far from over. Let me know in the comments what you think. Are these golden handcuffs real, and does it even matter? Hit like if you're backing Wrexham no matter what, and I'll see you in the next one. Come on, you Reds.